Welcome to a deep dive that just might flip your understanding of reality upside down.
Ooh, I like that.
We're going to be looking at My Big TOE,
Okay.
a book by physicist Tom Campbell,
All right.
and in it, he tries to lay out a scientific model to explain things like out-of-body experiences and the very nature of consciousness.
Yeah, it's a pretty ambitious goal.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting is how he kind of blends
Yeah.
his background in physics
Yeah.
with this exploration of consciousness.
Right.
And he doesn't shy away from scientific rigor even when he's talking about these,
Yeah.
let's just say, unconventional topics.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to start things off,
Okay.
Campbell, he starts as a physicist,
Yes, he does.
but then he takes this turn
Right.
towards these more esoteric, consciousness-focused experiences.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through how that happened?
Well, his shift away from traditional physics research kind of started with his own experiences
Yeah.
with altered states of consciousness, like those induced by meditation.
Okay.
It's almost like he stumbled on a whole new set of data points that
Yeah.
didn't fit the existing scientific framework.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And what I find really fascinating is he was first introduced to out-of-body experiences by his boss.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know.
That could have been easily dismissed as like fringe science,
Totally.
but instead he decided to dig deeper.
Yeah. Instead of just rejecting it,
Yeah.
as inexplicable,
Yeah.
he applied a scientific lens to it
Right, exactly.
and even went so far as to set up a lab
He did.
with colleagues
Yeah.
to actually try to study these phenomena.
Yeah, to objectively measure and understand these non-physical experiences.
That's really fascinating.
Yeah.
So he didn't just take it at face value.
No,
He actually tried to gather evidence.
he did, yeah.
What kind of evidence did he find convincing enough
Right.
to dedicate his research to this?
Well, Campbell claims that he's collected a significant amount of data. That points to the existence of non-physical realities
Okay.
and what he calls size phenomena,
Okay.
which includes things like ESP and psychokinesis.
Okay.
And this data that he got from these experiments, these controlled experiments,
Okay.
formed the foundation for his model of reality.
Okay, so this data collection sets the stage for his book, My Big TV, right?
That's right.
Could we dive into some of the key concepts he outlines there?
Absolutely.
Right.
One of the most fundamental ideas in My Big Theory is that consciousness,
Okay.
rather than being a product of the brain,
Okay.
is actually the fundamental building block of all reality.
Whoa.
It's a pretty bold claim,
Yeah.
essentially stating that consciousness is primary
Hmm.
and the physical world that we perceive
Yeah.
is secondary.
So instead of the brain creating consciousness, he's arguing that it's the other way around,
That's right.
that consciousness is the source of everything.
Right.
How does he begin to explain that?
Well, he introduces this concept of AUO, which stands for absolute unbounded oneness.
Okay.
And you can think of that as this primal, undifferentiated consciousness that exists before anything else.
Okay.
And from this, AUO emerges AUM,
Okay.
or absolute unlimited manifestation,
Okay.
which Campbell describes as this vast evolving consciousness system. He compares AUM to a giant computer that generates our reality.
So we're talking about the possibility that our physical world, what we experience as real,
Yeah.
could be a sort of virtual reality
Yeah, that's right.
generated by this AUM.
That's the idea.
That's quite a leap.
It is.
Does Campbell tie this back to any existing scientific thought?
Interestingly, his concept of reality as a simulation
Yeah.
actually aligns with the growing field of digital physics,
Okay.
which is this fascinating area of research that explores the possibility that the universe,
Yeah.
at its core,
Yeah.
is informational,
Right.
perhaps even computational.
Okay, so there might be some scientific grounding for these ideas.
Yeah.
But how does Campbell define our everyday reality within this framework?
He uses the term PMR,
Okay.
which stands for physical matter reality, to describe our familiar three-dimensional world.
Okay.
It's essentially our experience of the physical universe.
Okay.
And alongside PMR, he proposes NPMR,
All right.
or non-physical matter reality.
Okay.
And this NPMR encompasses realms beyond the constraints of space and time
Wow.
as we understand them.
So that's like the back end of the simulation,
Yeah, you can think of it that way.
where things aren't bound by the same rules as our physical world.
Exactly.
And where do we fit into this vast system?
Right.
Are we just lines of code in Campbell's model?
Not exactly.
Or...
He suggests that we are individuated units of consciousness.
Okay.
Like individual players in a massive online game.
Okay.
All connected to this larger AUM system.
Okay.
But experiencing reality from our own unique perspectives.
That's a helpful analogy.
Yeah.
So we have our individual experiences in PMR. But we're also part of this larger NPMR.
Right.
Through our connection to AUM.
That's the idea.
Does Campbell explain why these individual units of consciousness or players are even here in the first place?
He argues that our existence is part of a grand experiment in consciousness evolution.
Okay.
And he even has a term for this, entropy reduction.
Okay.
Essentially, it's the idea that consciousness is continually striving towards greater organization, understanding, and love, moving from a state of chaos to a state of greater harmony.
Okay, so that reframes the idea of our purpose.
It does.
It's not just about paying bills and getting through the day.
Right.
According to Campbell, we're here to evolve.
Yes.
To learn to contribute to the overall improvement of consciousness itself.
Exactly.
That's a key point.
Yes, it is.
And Campbell emphasizes the importance of choice.
He does.
In this evolutionary process.
Yes.
We have free will.
Okay.
Albeit within the framework of AUM. He uses the analogy of a rat in a maze.
Okay.
The rat has choices to make.
Yeah.
But it's still operating within the confines of the maze.
Right.
So we're not just passive passengers in this reality.
No, we're not.
We're active participants making choices that shape our own evolution.
Right.
And contribute to the evolution of the system as a whole.
That's right.
This idea of free will within a predetermined system is fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
How does Campbell reconcile those seemingly contradictory concepts?
Well, he introduces the concept of the psi-uncertainty principle, which suggests that within PMR, our attempts to definitively prove the existence of psi phenomena, like telepathy or precognition, will always be limited. This is because our actions and intentions within the system can actually influence the very phenomena that we're trying to observe.
So we're almost like observers influencing the experiment.
You could say that, yes.
Just by being part of it. It makes you wonder about the limitations of our current scientific methods.
It does.
When it comes to studying consciousness.
Yeah.
Especially if it plays such a fundamental role in shaping reality itself.
Right, exactly.
That's a question that Campbell grapples with throughout the book.
Yeah.
He suggests that our understanding of the universe is still very limited.
Yeah, it is.
And we need to be open to new ways of thinking and exploring if we want to truly understand the nature of reality.
Absolutely.
And our place within it.
I agree.
And how does Campbell suggest we go about expanding our understanding?
Okay.
Is it all about complex theories and scientific models?
Well, he proposes that personal experience is just as important as scientific inquiry. And he emphasizes practices like meditation and self-reflection as tools for exploring consciousness and its role in shaping our reality. He believes that direct experience is crucial for moving beyond a purely intellectual understanding.
So it's not just about reading and theorizing. It's about rolling up our sleeves and diving into the exploration of our own consciousness.
Exactly.
It's about becoming active participants in our own evolution.
Yeah.
Not just passive observers of the world around us.
That's a great way to put it.
And this personal exploration is where we start to see the practical implications of his model moving beyond theoretical physics into the realm of self-discovery and personal transformation.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's where like the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, that idea of personal transformation is really interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm still kind of stuck on this concept of reality as a virtual reality.
Okay.
It's just so counterintuitive.
It is.
To our everyday experience.
Yeah.
Does Campbell offer any like concrete examples of how this might actually work?
Well, he does dive into the mechanics of how AUM, this larger consciousness system, might be generating our physical reality. He uses the analogy of how we create virtual realities in computers. You know, we set the rules, we set the parameters, and the computer processes that information to create the experience.
So in Campbell's model, AUM is like the programmer, setting up the parameters of reality. And we're experiencing the output, the virtual reality generated by those parameters.
Exactly.
That's the basic idea.
And he doesn't shy away from the implications of this.
No, he doesn't.
He suggests that even our physical bodies are essentially data structures within AUM.
That's right.
Allowing us to interact with and experience this PMR.
That's the idea.
Whoa, okay. So if our bodies, our surroundings, everything we perceive as physical is essentially information being processed by AUM.
Right.
What does that mean for our individual consciousness?
Okay.
Where does it reside?
Well, Campbell proposes that our individual consciousness, those unique units of awareness, actually exist within NPMR.
Okay.
That realm, beyond the limitations of space and time.
It's from this vantage point that we interact with and experience PMR.
So our consciousness isn't bound by the physical laws of PMR.
Right.
It's operating on a different level.
Yes.
Almost like a non-player character in a video game.
Yeah, like an NPC.
It has access to the game's code.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
I think so.
And Campbell suggests that because our consciousness exists in NPMR, it has the potential to interact with PMR in ways that we're only beginning to understand.
Right, like we're just scratching the surface.
That opens up some pretty fascinating possibilities.
It does.
It could explain things like intuition.
Uh-huh.
Those moments when we just know something.
Yeah.
Without knowing how we know it.
Right.
Or even in experiences that seem to defy the laws of physics.
Exactly.
And it challenges us to reconsider the limitations that we place on ourselves based on our current understanding of reality.
Right.
If our consciousness is not bound by the same constraints as our physical bodies, what are we truly capable of?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. It's a little overwhelming to think about.
It is. It's mind-blowing.
Are there any practical tools that Campbell suggests for exploring these expanded possibilities?
He repeatedly emphasizes the importance of meditation and self-reflection as ways to access and interact with NPMR.
Okay.
He sees these practices as tools for expanding our awareness and connecting with these deeper aspects of ourselves.
So it's about cultivating that connection between our individual consciousness and the larger consciousness system, that AUM that he describes.
Right.
It makes me wonder, though, about the nature of AUM itself.
Okay.
Does Campbell offer any insights into what this vast consciousness system is actually like?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
He doesn't shy away from attributing qualities to AUM.
Okay.
He suggests that its fundamental nature is love. And he defines love not just as an emotion, but as like a state of being, a state of low entropy.
Okay.
Characterized by connection, cooperation, and a drive towards greater understanding.
So he's saying that the very fabric of reality is woven from love.
That's a big statement.
It is. It's a bold statement.
Yeah.
If that's the case, why is there so much suffering and conflict in our world?
Well, Campbell acknowledges this paradox.
Okay.
He proposes that suffering and conflict are part of the learning process.
Okay.
Essential for the evolution of consciousness.
Okay.
He compares it to a child learning to walk.
Okay.
There are bound to be stumbles and falls along the way.
So it's not that AUM is indifferent to our suffering.
Right.
But rather that these challenges are part of a larger process of growth and development.
Yeah, it's like growing pains on a cosmic scale.
That's a difficult concept to grasp.
It is.
Especially when faced with personal hardship.
Yeah, it's hard to see the bigger picture when you're in the midst of suffering.
And it brings us back to this idea of free will. Campbell argues that we have the choice to learn from our experiences.
Yes, we do.
To grow in love and understanding.
Okay.
Or to remain stuck in patterns of fear and separation.
Right, we always have that choice.
So while AUM may provide the framework, the ultimate responsibility for our evolution rests with us.
It does.
That's empowering in a way.
It is, yeah.
To realize that we're not just passive victims.
No, we're not.
But active participants in shaping the quality of our experience.
Right.
And by extension, the quality of consciousness itself.
That's right.
That sense of agency is a key theme in my big TOA.
It is.
It invites us to take ownership of our choices. To recognize the impact our thoughts, intentions, and actions have on our own lives and the world around us.
Right, it's all connected.
He's essentially saying that our individual consciousness isn't just this isolated thing.
No.
It's woven into the fabric of reality. Interconnected with everything else.
That's the idea.
Does Campbell provide any specific examples of how this interconnectedness might manifest in our everyday lives?
He suggests that our thoughts, intentions, and emotions can actually influence the physical world in subtle but powerful ways.
Okay.
It's a concept that's been explored in various spiritual traditions for centuries.
Right.
But Campbell tries to ground it in a scientific framework.
Okay.
He talks about things like the placebo effect,
Okay.
the power of prayer,
Okay.
and even the possibility of psychic phenomena as evidence of this interconnectedness.
It's almost as if our consciousness
Yeah.
can extend beyond the boundaries of our physical bodies, interacting with the world around us in ways we don't fully understand.
Right, we're more than just our physical bodies.
Right, that raises so many questions.
It does.
How do we reconcile this with our current scientific models that tend to emphasize a separation between mind and matter?
Campbell argues that our current scientific models, while incredibly valuable, are still incomplete. He uses the analogy of a fish trying to understand the nature of water. It's all around them, but they can't see it because it's their very environment.
We're so immersed in our own consciousness that it's difficult to step back and see it objectively.
Exactly.
But as Campbell suggests, perhaps through practices like meditation, we can start to become more aware of our own consciousness and its potential to influence the world around us.
That's the idea.
It's a profound shift in perspective.
It is.
And it makes you wonder if our thoughts and intentions can actually shape reality. What responsibility do we have to cultivate those thoughts and intentions in a way that contributes to the well-being of ourselves and the world around us?
That's a great question, and it's one that Campbell doesn't shy away from. He argues that understanding our role as active participants in consciousness evolution
comes with a certain moral imperative. You know, it's about recognizing that our choices have consequences. Not just for ourselves, but for the larger system as a whole.
And it circles back to his earlier point about love being the fundamental nature of AUM.
Right.
If we're all connected to this vast consciousness system, and its essence is love, wouldn't it make sense that cultivating love and compassion within ourselves would contribute to the overall evolution of consciousness?
Yeah, that's precisely the argument that Campbell makes. He sees the cultivation of love, compassion, and understanding as essential for our own personal growth, as well as for the evolution of consciousness itself.
So it's not just a feel-good sentiment.
Right.
It's a fundamental principle driving the entire system.
Exactly.
So it's not just about intellectual understanding.
Right.
It's about embodying these qualities in our everyday lives.
Yeah, it's about putting it into practice.
That can feel so daunting. It can.
Especially in a world that often seems to prioritize competition and self-interest.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in that.
How does Campbell suggest we even begin to approach this?
He acknowledges the challenges, but he offers a message of hope. He argues that even small acts of kindness, compassion, and understanding can have a ripple effect, contributing to the overall shift towards a more loving and harmonious reality.
It's like we're all part of this grand tapestry.
Yeah.
And the threads of our individual choices are woven into the larger design.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
It is a beautiful image.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I'm still struggling with some of the implications of his model. Does Campbell address the existence of other realities?
He does.
I mean, if consciousness is the foundation of reality, could there be other realities out there beyond our own?
That's where things get really mind-bending. He suggests that there could be countless other realities existing within AUM, each with its own unique set of parameters and experiences. Think of it like different servers in a massive online game, each offering a different version of the game world.
So there could be other versions of ourselves out there.
Potentially.
Experiencing realities vastly different from our own.
Yeah, it's a wild thought.
The possibilities are truly endless.
They are, according to Campbell.
According to Campbell, He proposes that these other realities might even be accessible through altered states of consciousness. Like those he experienced in his lab.
Yes.
He describes these experiences as glimpses into NPMR. Where the limitations of our physical reality no longer apply.
It's like we're peeking behind the curtain, getting a glimpse of the machinery that generates our everyday experience.
But if these other realities exist, how do we know which one is real?
That's a question Campbell grapples with. He suggests that ultimately, all realities within AUM are equally real. each contributing to the larger evolution of consciousness.
Okay.
It's not about finding the right reality,
Right.
but about recognizing the interconnectedness of all experience.
That's a humbling thought.
It is.
To realize that our individual perspective, our limited view of reality, is just one small facet of a much grander and more complex system.
Yeah, we're just a small part of something much bigger.
But it's also incredibly exciting.
It is.
To think about the possibilities that open up.
Yeah.
When we start to challenge our assumption about what's real and what's possible.
That sense of wonder and possibility is really at the heart of my big TOE.
Yeah.
It's an invitation to embark on a journey of discovery, to explore the uncharted territories of consciousness, and to recognize our own role in shaping the reality we experience.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's like he's handing us this map
to
a whole new dimension of reality and saying, go explore.
Exactly.
It's daunting, but also incredibly exciting.
It is.
What stood out to you is particularly impactful in Campbell's model?
You know, I find the concept of entropy reduction really thought-provoking.
Okay.
The idea that we can actively contribute to the evolution of consciousness by making choices that lead to greater love, understanding, and connection. That's a powerful concept with real implications for how we live our lives.
Yeah, it shifts our focus from just trying to get by in this world.
Right, survival mode.
To actually participating in something much grander.
Does.
Something that extends beyond our individual lives.
Yeah.
And even beyond our physical reality.
Exactly.
It's a call to step into a greater sense of responsibility.
It is.
Recognizing that our choices have consequences.
Yes.
Not just for ourselves, but for the entire system.
Right. We're all connected.
I can imagine some people might find this idea of reality as a simulation a little unsettling.
Yeah.
Does Campbell address that concern?
He does.
Okay.
He acknowledges that it can be a difficult concept to wrap our heads around.
Yeah.
Especially, like, you know, given our conditioning to believe that the physical world is all there is.
Right.
But he argues that understanding reality as a virtual reality doesn't diminish our experience or make it any less real.
Okay.
In fact, it opens up a whole new realm of possibilities.
It's like realizing that the video game you've been playing your whole life is just one level in a much larger game.
Right.
With infinite levels and possibilities.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And it invites us to question the limitations we've placed on ourselves based on our limited understanding of reality.
Right, we put ourselves in these boxes.
If our consciousness is not bound by the same constraints as our physical bodies, what are we truly capable of achieving?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's both liberating and a little bit terrifying to think about.
It is. It's exciting and scary at the same time.
Campbell also mentions some pretty mind-blowing stuff about psychic phenomena.
He does.
Things like telepathy and precognition.
Yeah, that's some wild stuff.
Is he suggesting that these things are actually real?
He argues that these phenomena are not only possible, but a natural consequence of the interconnected nature of consciousness. He believes our current scientific models are simply not equipped to fully explain or understand these experiences.
So it's not that science is wrong.
Right.
It's just that it hasn't caught up yet.
Exactly.
To the full scope of what's possible.
Yeah, it's still evolving.
When we consider the role of consciousness in shaping reality.
I think that's a key takeaway from my big TO. It challenges us to expand our definition of what's scientifically plausible and to consider the possibility that there's much more to discover about the universe and our place within it.
It's a call to embrace curiosity.
Yes.
To keep asking questions.
Yes, always be questioning.
And to remain open to the possibility that our current understanding of reality is just a stepping stone to something even more profound.
I like that.
But with all this talk
of
vast consciousness systems and other realities, it can feel a bit overwhelming.
It can be a lot to take in.
Where does Campbell suggest we begin our own exploration of consciousness?
You know, he consistently emphasizes the importance of personal experience. Exploring these concepts for ourselves. Through practices like meditation and self-reflection.
So it's not just about reading books and theories.
Right.
It's about cultivating a direct connection with our own consciousness.
Exactly.
So it's about turning inwards. Becoming more aware of our own thoughts, feelings,
Right.
and intuitions,
Right.
and how they might be interacting with the world around us.
Yeah, paying attention to those inner signals.
It's about becoming active participants in our own evolution.
Yeah.
Not just passive observers of reality.
Right, taking control of our own growth.
And it's about recognizing that this journey of consciousness is ultimately a personal one.
It is. It's your own unique path.
It's not about finding all the answers.
Right.
But about embracing the mystery and the adventure.
I like that.
Of exploring the unknown.
Yeah, it's about the journey.
And as Campbell suggests, this journey begins with a single step.
It does.
A step towards curiosity.
Okay.
Towards self-exploration. And towards embracing the possibility that there's much more to reality than we can currently imagine.
That's the spirit.
Well, folks, there you have it.
We did it.
Our deep dive into Tom Campbell's My Big Toe has taken us from the realm of physics to the very nature of consciousness itself.
It's been a wild ride.
It has.
Yeah.
It's a book that challenges our assumptions, expands our awareness, and invites us to embark on a journey of self-discovery, one like any other.
It's a real mind bender.
If you're ready to question everything you thought you knew about reality, and to explore the vast, uncharted territories of consciousness, My Big Toe is an excellent place to start.
I highly recommend it.
So until next time. Keep those minds open.
Keep them open.
Those questions flowing.
You never stop questioning.
And remember, the adventure of consciousness awaits.
It does.
Happy exploring.